we're open to anything that they'd like to see, and we're here to kind of really engage with our residents. We are creating the opportunity for people from all around the world to be able to meet each other, grow together, have obviously great academic outcomes, but also hopefully all of our team on site are trained for kind of mental health training, understanding, identifying, or trying to identify certain residents that may be finding it tough.
Hai teman-teman, kembali lagi bersama aku Valeri dan kali ini aku masih ditemani oleh Corily selaku Director of Commercial dari The Switch Accommodation in Australia. Kalau sebelumnya kita udah bahas beberapa akomodasi The Switch di 4 lokasi atau 4 kota besar di Australia, kali ini kita akan bahas lebih dalam mengenai student life dan support yang ditawarkan oleh The Switch sendiri kepada mahasiswa-mahasiswa internasional nih. So Corey, I want to talk about the student life. What kind of community activities or programs does the Switch offers or organize for international students?
Yeah, sure. So, like I mentioned, we really are resident driven and resident focused and resident led. So for us, we have a framework of an engagement program that kind of talks to being, like I said, self growth. Standing up for what you believe in. We have a lot of elements within our building that I haven't touched on yet, which is sustainable focus. And all of our buildings are 5-star Green Star, which is basically a sustainability level that or equivalent that talks to design and construction, where we have a real strong focus on that sustainability element. And part of what we do in our engagement program is giving the opportunity for our residents to stand up for something they believe in. And we have a lot of sustainable focused kind of activities within the buildings to try and kind of hold up that sustainability element. I think that there's a lot of focus for us is on that employability and life after kind of study, and setting our residents up for just considering that. And it's like about skills. It's about skills and being ready to go to the workforce when you're finished, and that kind of employability element, but also the creativity outlet and making sure that you can create something that, that can take your mind off your study for that half an hour or for that 45 minutes. So I think that, there's a lot of programs that we run. There's a lot of engagement that we kind of put in place. And it really is driven by our residents. We're open to anything that they'd like to see. And we're here to kind of really engage with our residents, and create the opportunities for them to be able to grow while they live with us.
Great. So previously you mentioned about, I actually mentioned about how I felt like all the activities felt very communal. Like the Switch is nurturing a sense of belonging in students or residents who stay at their accommodation. How important is it, you think, for the Switch to create maybe a sense of like belonging for international students, especially those who come from like a faraway place like Indonesia?
Yeah, I think it's the key. Obviously, most of our residents are international. We have a strong element of domestic students as well. So Australian students or people that live in Australia living with us and that are traveling interstate. But the vast majority of our residents are international students, and I think obviously the focus of being in Australia for our international students is the academic outcome and making sure they're achieving in their studies. But the accommodation and the well-being and your situation around that is so important to making an academic success. You need, in my opinion, as a parent, you need to have somewhere you feel safe, you feel secure, you feel able to be yourself, that we can facilitate that communal element to know you're not on your own. You've got support and partial elements like from our team. We create environments where there can be peer support within living with us. And we really, and that's the whole key point behind engagement. I think an engaged student or an engaged resident is someone who we believe is in the best position to be able to succeed academically, to have that support network. Obviously, we're here as a team. We have on-site teams that are very partially minded, that have the best interest at heart of all of our residents. But there's elements that our residents would much rather speak to a peer and much rather speak to another student. So by driving events and driving elements of kind of engagement and community and bringing people together, I think is integral to the academic outcome. But also, I think that, like the whole point is that this should be an exciting, rewarding journey for these students that are traveling internationally, and the opportunity to meet not only people from your own background or your own country, but literally when you're going to an international student focused accommodation, you literally are understanding and becoming a world citizen. You get to understand other cultures, you get to meet other people, and you get to create, hopefully, lifelong friendships hopefully within our building. That's what we're trying to facilitate, is that, we are creating the opportunity for people from all around the world to be able to meet each other, grow together, have obviously great academic outcomes, but also hopefully create connections, not only with people that may be from Indonesia, but also from people all around the world. Because I think, that would be the ultimate outcome for us, is that we get this real world citizen element within our building that creates the opportunity for people to create connection. And I think that's part of the I think that's part of what many international students miss by not going into a purpose-built accommodation or an on-campus accommodation. Yes, there are the opportunities out there to live in a residential or a shared apartment or a share house that exists. But I think there's a whole element of pastoral care, a whole element of support, and a whole element of community that you may miss if that is your journey. So I think, yeah, what we do, and to be quite frank, what a lot of providers do, is set up some really exciting areas for our residents to engage with each other and create community.
All right. So, over the talk, we've talked a lot about support and a resident-led engagement and everything. I want to touch more about the on the support part. So, for international students, as we talked about transitioning into student life in major urban areas such as Sydney and Melbourne, are there maybe specific support for international students who are maybe struggling with homesickness or having trouble adjusting to their life in Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. So we obviously we work very close with universities. We understand, I guess the challenges and the impacts of moving so far away from your family. Sometimes living on your own for the first time. Sometimes having to cook for yourself for the first time. Um, and within the buildings, obviously, like I said, we do have a lot of community. All of our team on site are trained for kind of mental health training, understanding, identifying, or trying to identify certain residents that may be finding it tough. We also work very close with the universities, and we have great lines of communication to facilitate that homesickness and understand and having those conversations. We have an on-site team that is very observant. All of our teams work. We have an office out the back, but literally that is for where we store our things. All of our teams are in the community. We are trying to identify those residents that might not be engaging. We have constant conversations within the building, trying to identify elements or some residents that we've not been able to kind of connect with yet. And our team will try and connect with that resident either via meeting or just dropping them a call, dropping an email. We have a lot of kind of those opportunities for our residents to engage with us. Outside of that, all of our residents also get access to the Sonda Safety and Wellbeing app. Now that is also free of charge for anyone who lives at the Switch, which is an amazing all-encompassing support for our team in helping those students that may not want to engage with us. So within that, that Sonder Safety and Wellbeing app, it does everything from, if a student wants to know where their closest doctor is, where their closest dentist is, all that element. It also has kind of an outreach element that where you can reach out, ask questions to someone that is there to support our residents via text, via message, via phone call. That gives our students, some students that aren't comfortable to kind of engage with us and would much rather kind of just seek out support, ask some questions. That is a huge kind of, I guess, resource for our residents to lean on if they just want to ask questions about being homesick and they're not comfortable being with us. So I think for us, once again, we try and create these opportunities for people to create friendships, which helps with that homesickness element. So once again, we focus heavily in that kind of that first arrival period, the semester 1, semester 2 arrival period, where we're just trying to create some fun outcomes, trying to get people to connect. And I think that, the overlay of all that, hopefully we can capture those students that may be feeling homesick, create some peer elements that can kind of give them some support and some advice. But also we kind of got that all-encompassing, pastoral element that's entwined with everything we do.
Right, Corey, thank you so much for your time and for our talk today, which I think would be very insightful for students who are still searching for accommodation in Australia specifically. Thank you for your time, and I feel like I'll see you again soon. So, bye-bye.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Lovely to see you.
Mau lagi? Nah, itu dia tadi perbincangan kita dengan Corey Lee selaku Director of Commercial dari The Switch Accommodation in Australia. Jadi untuk teman-teman yang ingin cari akomodasi dengan fasilitas yang modern, dengan lokasi strategis dan pastinya komunitas yang membangun dan membantu juga suportif, teman-teman bisa banget menjadikan The Switch sebagai salah satu pilihan kalian. Nah, teman-teman jangan repot-repot, nggak usah bingung juga nih untuk gimana sih caranya book akomodasi The Switch. Kalian bisa langsung konsultasi dan hubungi Sun Education. So what are you waiting for? Book your unit now. So that's all we have for today. Terima kasih sudah tune in and I'll see you at another time. Bye-bye.
Siapin apa lagi ya? Daripada bingung, mendingan subscribe channel YouTube Sun Education dan nonton video lainnya untuk tips kuliah di luar negeri.